The Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Child Protection. Minister, I refer to the tabling of a petition in the Legislative Council calling for an inquiry into forced adoption practices in Western Australia. The grievance I presented to you in October and the correspondence sent to both yourself and the Premier on this matter. 1. Have you considered the request from survivors for an inquiry? 2. If yes, when will the government take action on this important issue? And 3. If no, why?
The Minister for Child Protection.
Madam Speaker, thank you, Member, for the question. And I know you did a grievance on this not that long ago, and you asked the same questions then. And I noticed that in the 8.5 years that you were in government, you didn't actually do an inquiry. There was an apology. There was an apology that was in place, but there wasn't an inquiry.
Order, please.
And there wasn't any other action that's been requested by those who are affected by forced adoption. But can I say from the outset that this was a terrible practice. It is a practice that is largely thought to have occurred probably between the 1940s and 1980s in terms of the people that are still with us, and that's where largely young mothers were forced or coerced to give up their babies at birth, usually single women. And some of the stories that I have heard those women tell me either directly or in accounts have been heartbreaking about what they have suffered. And then obviously it's not only the women that are affected, it's their families, but also the children that are affected by that, who often don't know for many years what their backgrounds are. So we're very conscious of that. And I did actually give an undertaking to some of the advocates of those affected by forced adoption that I would meet with them before the end of the year, and that meeting has been arranged, and I will give them feedback. I don't know whether people in this chamber have noticed that there's a theme to what the opposition is doing, and that is that they want an inquiry on any matter that's going on at the moment, because that's a way of spinning their wheels and getting some perhaps more political mileage. Getting some political mileage out of a question. In fact, there has been a Senate inquiry into this very matter, and also Victoria did a very thorough look at this matter as well. So we actually are aware of a lot of the requests that have been put by the largely women that have come and advocated to me on this issue. One of the things that I was that did make an impression on me that has only come to me more recently is that the women were saying that they would like a way to tell their stories publicly, and that might be identified or de-identified, but a way of putting their stories on the record so it is known. And I have heard that request, and I'm looking at ways that we could meet that request. But by and large, when you look at the policy or the initiatives that are being requested by those affected, they're well known. They're not new. There are not new issues that would be uncovered by an inquiry in Western Australia. So I have undertaken to meet with the advocates and those affected before the end of the year. I think a meeting has been set up for early December, and I look forward to continuing to work with them to address their concerns.
Supplementary question.
Thank you, Minister. Can I just be clear, are you ruling out an inquiry as requested by survivors and as the petition has clearly called for, tabled by one of your own members in the Legislative Council?
The Minister.
I don't support an inquiry because I don't think it will give us anything new that we don't already know in terms of the specific requests that are being put by the advocates and have already been well canvassed by an investigation in the Federal Senate and Victorian State inquiry as well.